Yo,
Good evening.
good evening, Scott. How are you, man, Scotty? What's up?
Uh, I'm doing well tonight. How about you? How you doing?
I've been doing good. I've been doing great. Thank you so much to drop by my forum, my 3M forum. I mean, it's been a great opportunity for me to have you around. That we can talk, we can share some knowledge to the kids, to the future musician, and then let's see what's going from there, man, bro. Are
Yeah, sounds great.
you ready?
All right.
Okay.
Well, did you
Okay.
say you were gonna play? You were
Okay.
gonna play something first?
Yeah. I will start something on my 3M first, and then we will talk. Okay?
All right.
Is it okay with you?
I love watching you play. You're very
Okay.
inspirational.
Thank you so much, brother. You too, may be inspirational for me. Thank you so much. Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay.
All right. Very nice.
Ah,
Very nice, man.
thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Your playing is so, your phrasing is amazing. It's very tasteful and melodic, emotional. It just checks all the boxes, you know. It speaks. It says something.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I love to send my gratitude and my thankful to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and all my influence. You know, Michael Schenker, Jimi Hendrix, Willie John Roth, George Lynch, and you know, on to name a few, they are all the best that I have to be who I am today, man. I mean, we all still have a long way to go and to learn and to study, right? But end of the day, I have to be thankful. Without them, I'm nobody today, man. I owe a big time to them. You know, all my heroes. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think we
You know,
all, I
especially,
think
you
we
know,
all
going
do
back
too,
to,
right?
you know, childhood years, you know, before I even played guitar, I started playing guitar when I was 16 years old. And
Yeah.
I remember, you know, back even when I was a young child, there was something about the sound of a guitar solo
Yeah.
that touched my soul in a certain way and made me want to emulate it. And I remember maybe the first guitar solos that I heard that really moved me were probably, you know, Pink Floyd, you know, David
Oh,
Gilmour,
yeah.
and then, you know, later on Hendrix. I was very into, you know, all the '80s guitar players, and you know, Malmsteen, and then I moved to Memphis, Tennessee. You know, and it's a very home of the blues, you know,
Oh,
in
yeah.
the south of the United States, you know, pretty much the area where the blues was born. And that's when I moved down here, I saw Eric Gales play when he was 14 years old, when he was first coming out.
Yeah, that guy's good.
Mind-blowingly good. And when I saw him play, it made me understand that you know, the improvisation, freestyle, you know, improving your phrases. I could tell he was doing that, and it changed my approach to playing guitar. You know, I mean, that was over 20 years ago, so that was a long time ago. But yeah, all the people that you mentioned here lately, I've been getting into a lot of Gary Moore and Jeff Beck.
Oh, yes.
You know,
You know,
for the
you got
past couple of years.
Yeah. For me,
And
for me, Scott, sorry, for me, I idolized this guy to specific about this playing, this guy about this playing, and this guy about. Then I combine everything, merge everything inside, and I put it all inside my heart. Put it in me. So whatever comes out, according to the song, according to the music, if I play something very, very fast or very, very metal or things like that, I will have them coming out to my body at that moment. You see, when I play something like this, the best of Gary Moore will come to me. Every time when I play like this kind of music, this kind of slow songs or something like that, that guy will come to me for sure. So everything will come in place, So Scott, without wasting our time, let's go, Scott. It's your turn, man. Let's do some 3M in your own way, man. Go. Come on.
All right. Well, I just picked up the guitar just now, and I usually like to. I notice that when you warm up, you like to kind of do some scales and stuff. But sometimes when I warm up, I like to just find a drone. Just a drone in a single key, and and when you do that, you can explore a lot of melodies. You don't have a beat going and everything, so it becomes I don't know. So this is the key of D, and and I'll just Yeah, so yeah, just a drone.
Nicely done. Yeah.
You know, I can actually get lost in a drone like that for a long time. You know,
Same here.
a lot of time will go by, and you lose track of time sometimes. Does that ever happen to you when you play and you're on a track and it seems like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and you've been playing it for 10 or 11, 12 minutes?
I can, Scott, I can go hours, Scott, on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why? Okay. Anyway, nicely done. I catch some Malmsteen melody at the last one.
Oh yeah,
right?
the little yeah.
The song that come Viking, right?
Yeah.
But you put it in your own way. That's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I could, a little bit bluesier probably,
Yeah. So, but for me, I love to play something on the with the drum, with the bass, with the keyboards and all that, because every time when I do sessions years and years before, it's always like this. Just come and just impromptu 3M. It's just impromptu, one shot. So it's like you do it or you die, man. Do or die. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, can you share with us who is your main influence?
Oh, that is a really tough question because that is something that's constantly changing,
Yeah.
But for example, today I listened to I was listening to Steve Lukather at work. A lot of his live stuff, and I think he was playing. I think it was Steve Lukather and Steve Morse playing together in some kind of video. I didn't watch it. I was listening to it while I was working, and there's so many awesome guitar players, and like you described how you take some from all of them and bring them into yourself, into your own, almost like recipe. I think the best way for me to describe my influences would be probably 5 influences that were probably the most impactful. And I already said a couple of them: David Gilmour and Malmsteen, when I first started playing guitar, was a very big influence. And then Eric Gales, and of course I've always loved Santana. I loved what he did, that album that he won 9 Grammys. The thing that I loved about Santana was his ability to do all musical styles, and he had all those guest artists come in and sing all his songs. What was that album called? He won like 9 Grammys from that album.
I know.
Yeah, but anyway, that it's not always, to me, how if somebody can shred or whatever, but do they have their own unique sound? And of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan has been a huge influence for me as well. I was into him even when I was into Malmsteen. I was already getting into Stevie Ray Vaughan, and after moving to Memphis and being around the scene down here and seeing the real blues, the real bluesmen, even went down to the hill country area of Mississippi and went to some juke joints and saw some, some of them guys will get up there and they'll play they'll sing, they'll be playing the drums with their feet, and they're doing it all,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
one man band kind of thing,
yeah.
you know. So it's really hard to say who's my biggest influence, but those are probably the top five: Stevie
Okay.
Ray, Santana, Malmsteen, Eric Gales, and David Gilmour.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, and Jimi
good.
Hendrix would probably, you know, be a runner-up in there. You know, at times a huge influence also. You know, so.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, Donna. Donna is from Tennessee as well, I think, right? Donna King.
Yeah. Donna
Yeah.
King was with me yesterday. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Anyway, congratulations to Donna because she's been free of cancer. Good news. Good news.
That is that's great. I have a friend here, friend of mine who just beat stage 4 lung cancer, and you know, he was really expecting to die, and he's been in remission for 6 months now. You know, my dad beat cancer too years and years ago, and lived another over 30 years after his cancer. So it's it's not.
That's good news for them.
Not always a death sentence, although it's a terrible thing, you know, but it's not always a death sentence. But, you know, my dad just passed away on the same day that Jeff Beck passed away. So that was a pretty hard thing to go through here recently. But,
yeah, I heard about your dad. So sorry to hear about it. And yeah, my dad passed away of cancer also, of colon cancer, you know, my dad. He passed away, his age was 86, sorry. But anyway, we all, condolence to all the people, your dad and all, you know, everybody that's left us behind. But anyway, I want to ask you a simple question. For the kids to understand, is how is your, thank you, Donna. It's all about how you approach your practice. Can you show us a bit about how you approach your practice alone? Do you do scales? Do you do blues, pentatonic scales or band or whatever? So what do you specifically do for your practice? Can you share with us?
Okay, well that's a really good question because I never really delved into music theory. Now, I think I have an understanding of mathematically of how music works, and I, you know, my ear can tell me if something resonates to something that sounds good and musical, or if something wrong. But most of the time, if I play a scale or a chord, most of the time I am completely unaware of what mode it is or what chord I'm playing. About all I know is if I'm playing along to a track, I figure out what key it's in, and I just go to the fretboard and find it. You know.
Yeah.
So if a track's playing, I find, oh, it's in the key of E, and then I kind of know if it's major or minor, or you know, I just listen to the music. So for me, improvising is something that I wanted to get really good at. So I took, the past several years to really get good at improvising. So I like to play a lot of different styles of, you know, there's all different kinds of music that on the internet that you can jam to. That's fair use. Backing tracks, but not just backing tracks, but lots of other kinds of music that are instrumental music that you can put your own interpretation on top of. So I like to do a lot of different style of music, and when I'm playing, it's almost like meditation or prayer. I try not to think about what I'm doing, because if you think too much about what you're doing, that's usually when you mess up. If you get into a flow, especially if you're a guitar player that's played for many years. See, to me, music is nothing but another language, okay? So it's the language of the soul. It's the language of emotion and feeling.
Correct.
So when I don't look at things as scales, when I look at musical phrases, I look at them as sentences, paragraphs, stories, you know, with different varying, you know, like when you speak, sometimes you're yelling, sometimes you're speaking really softly. Sometimes you talk really fast and say a bunch of things. Sometimes you take pauses, you know, when you're having a conversation, you know. So to me, that's what music is like. It's like that's the way I approach it. And I think Guthrie Govan talked about that in one of his forums one time about how he kind of looked at that the same way, how music is like a language, and you know, you shouldn't. It's really helpful to know theory. I mean, I'm not saying that don't learn theory. If I could go back and do it all over, I would have learned a lot more theory and studied more about music, and would know how to read music and stuff. But you don't want to. You want to find the perfect balance. You don't want to get too tied up in one thing or the other. And I will be the first to criticize myself in saying that that's something that I probably didn't invest enough time in, was learning theory and how that works. It probably held me back some. I could probably be a much better player than I am today. I mean, I've been playing, you know, over 35 years, so I've been playing a very long time. So, you know, there was a period in my time where I gave it up and I almost went crazy. I think that to me it's a spiritual exercise, and to me it's like a prayer. It's like meditation and relaxation all in the same exercise. That's what playing music is like to me. It's like I'm connected to a higher power, connecting to, you know. That's what it's. That's what like.
I understand. I understand the picture that, I mean, me and you, Donna, you all, and a lot of other Malaysian great musicians, and you know, so-called you guys in America and in Europe, a lot of them are into the field and all that. I mean, those who play the music back from the 70s and 80s and probably the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
And then when I was doing a record, I told Donna yesterday about that funny thing that happened to me, and that thing really changed my attitude towards playing. You know, I was playing for some Indian producers from India back in Malaysia. They recorded here, so when I played for them, I have no problem playing for other local musician, Taiwan, Indonesia, or whatever. Doesn't matter. But when I came to play for this guy, it's all brand new, the way of thinking, the way of approaching, the feel. He said what? No, he told me what? Every note that you play, you must accept it like a river. It's like a river. The note is like a river. Dive deep into that river of every note, and you try to swim in deep as you can. Well, Scott, that one changed my mind, Scott. Seriously, when I go back, I was like, damn, I was lost for these years. I mean, I can play, Scott. You can play, I can play, easy. But to play in a where you put what you say is like a soul. The soul is flying, and you are still playing when the soul is flying. It's very hard, but it's not impossible to do it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that was a game changer for me that day onwards, because now after that incident 20 over years ago, it changed my mind. It blew my mind, you know, and I was like a guy who came up from a new shell, It puts me the feel into much more better level than before, more into technical, more into this, into that. But now, instead of playing a zillion notes, I mean, I still do that, but at times, this is what I put first at the moment for playing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you put me, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Well, the river is what is a river? It's fluid and it flows.
Yeah.
It's fluid and it flows, and you know that's the way music should be. It should be. It should flow. It should flow like water.
Yeah. Any plan of your own song, your own single or something coming out soon?
I actually, yeah, I was in the studio over the weekend, and we cut 2 tracks. One of them's just an instrumental. Like, I'm gonna do an album, so the instrumental is like 3 minutes long. It's like an intro, like a little musical interlude. And it's gonna have several different instruments in it, hand drums and mandolins and of course, guitar, and then the other track is sort of like a R&B soul blues mixture, but more like the 70s R&B, the real R&B, with a little new twist on it, and I'll be singing on that one. I have been trying to get back into singing again.
Oh, that's cool.
I'd like to write lyrics and stuff. I have lots of lyrics. I used to rap. So, that's a whole other musical art form in itself that some people don't understand. But that little period of time where I was involved and I became involved in that through my guitar playing, because I was going into the studio and cutting guitar parts on people's hip hop songs. They wanted guitar in their track, and I'd go there, and so I did that for a few years, and that'll really help you to be able to write lyrics. Well, I mean, once you can, if you can freestyle a rap flow, writing a lyric to a song becomes very easy, because you don't have to think very fast when you're singing long phrases, and the words are stretched out and everything. And it also helps in writing, when you have the rhythmical flow in a song lyric. It has its own cadence to it too. That might be similar to a guitar solo, Sometimes some of the best guitar solos, if you notice, they'll have the melody of the vocal theme in the solo somewhere. They'll be mimicking the vocal in the song somewhere in a guitar solo. And I think that's one of the great things about electric guitar is it's like a voice. It's really like a voice,
There's a question from Donna. That's a beautiful stretch. She's saying, what year is your stretch, and what pickup is that?
I think this is a 96 model, this one right here, and it's stock. This is it's called the Lone Star Edition.
Lone Star.
This is an American Lone Star Edition Strat, and it has pearly gates, humbucker, and then these two are Texas Special. And
okay,
I've got another one that I haven't played in a long time. Let me grab it right, so it's right over here. It's out. This is the other one that I like to play a lot, and this is I played this one so much. When I got this guitar, it was like brand new, and you can see where I wore off the gold, and It's even got some, got a little bit of checking on the line right here. The paint's wearing off a little bit, but this is the maple neck one, and this is actually a Mexico guitar, but it's a 60th anniversary, so it has USA vintage Fender pickups in it, and then all the hardware and the locking tuners are all the vintage style or whatever. But this is a really nice guitar too. I just haven't played it in a while. I probably should switch up guitars, but I've just been really digging that one ever since I got it. So I play it all the time, I got a few other ones too. I got 3 other Strat guitars. One's a build that somebody made out of parts. It's a parts caster, and then I have a Tagima, and I have a Squire Bullet Strat. So your guitars are awesome.
This is my 75 gig.
You get out. What rig do you use? I've always wondered, like, what's your guitar rig, like the amplifier or whatever patches you are using when you to get your sound with. Like, what are you playing through?
I was just using the plug-in from the computer.
Oh, okay. So it's like a what do they call that? Like a computer program.
It's a plug-in called Reaper.
Okay.
Reaper. And then some add-ons. I just use one slab long delay. That's it. Nothing more than that. That's it.
That's really all I use. I have a delay pedal going through my effects loop, and I found myself using it too much. So I plugged in something else. Octave fuzz I use sometimes, but I don't like to use a lot of effects. I like to try and manipulate the sounds from just the amp and the guitar,
Donna is asking, am I the last one to use an amp?
Oh, the amp that I'm using right now is a Blackstar HT20 Mark II.
Oh.
So it's basically a 20-watt tube amp. It's a little, it's with a modern twist, and then I modded it and put Mesa Boogie preamp tubes in it. So it sounds a little bit different, but not that much different. I mean, most people wouldn't be able to tell. But the thing I like about this amp is it has that power attenuation. So when I'm in this small room, I can turn it down to 2 watts, and it'll break up like it's a big amp that's cranked up, but it won't, be making me go deaf.
Yeah, correct. Bro, what do you think about combination of all music into one music? Meaning, if you are playing into certain kind of music, is it advisable for you to? I mean, I got my way to approach it. I'm asking your way. Maybe you can share it with the kids. Whatever that we speak, we want to share it with the kids, because down here there are a lot of guitar players, very good guitar players, who really into my channel, and they want to listen to other players around the world who can share something for them, And that's why I'm asking you. Well, what is your approach of maybe pop or rap or blues or things like that? When you approach something like sentimental music or maybe folk music, do you consider playing all type of music into one, or maybe just approach one music into that one? How do you go?
I think there's so many genres of music, and I don't like to be genre specific or anything. I mean, I know what I like to listen to most of the time or whatever, but I really do listen to a lot of different kinds of music. But sometimes taking 2 genres of music and
Yeah.
making them marry together into one song is an awesome thing. I mean, a perfect example of that would be if we go way back in the, I guess it would be the 80s or early 90s,
Correct.
80s. In the 80s, when Aerosmith and the hip hop group Run DMC did a song together, you know, who would ever thought that would be so catchy, you know? Or even stuff I've seen on YouTube, like a bluegrass band will cover a Metallica or an AC/DC song and play it in bluegrass. It all comes down to this: if you have a great song, it can work in any musical genre, and you know, always be open to listening to different kinds of music, and always be open to playing different kind of music, because you can learn a lot, you know, just like I described a few minutes ago, where my period of time where I did rap really made me be able to write song lyrics, you know, very easily, you know, and I remember I even went to a songwriting seminar one time for the Songwriters Guild, and there was a country singer there that wrote country songs for country artists in Nashville, even some famous ones, and he said he would listen to hip hop music because it helped him figure out how to phrase his words in catchier ways in his country song. Well, when a country fan goes and listens to that song, they're hearing the influence of hip hop music in the country song, and they don't even know it. So, yeah, I mean, a genre of music is just a box. And wouldn't you like to be outside of the box where you can choose any box at any time? You know? So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about music becoming one. I mean, it's constantly evolving, and it's constantly doing that. Especially these days when the world has become so connected, you know, all the cultures of the world are, we walk around, we have something in the palm of our hand, and we can listen to, or from Malaysia or anywhere, you know, and vice versa, you know. We've never been this connected before as a human species, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty amazing time to be able to you know, and then the technology and the instruments and everything, you know, it's just amazing that what we can do these days, you know. We should use that to our advantage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you say. But okay, Scott, I would like to share with you some of my approach on maybe a simple approach of maybe a style of David Gilmour, but I'll do it my way. So it's a song a moody Pink Floyd style in D minor. I will play for you something, and
okay.
I will see let's see the approach that I can do for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Nice.
Ah.
Nice. I like that the soulful phrasing. You know, when it's broke up and you know you do a little phrase like you know when you're you know you know when there's pauses in between the phrases, especially you know guitar players when they can play a really fast phrase and stop and then pick up, you know, and have a perfect pause in there. It's like punctuation, you know.
Yeah.
So what track was that you were playing to?
It's called. Hold on a minute. What the hell is this? It's called Moody. Moody Pink Floyd backing track in D minor. Salam Allah. Got it?
From Fuse Guitar?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Moody Pink Floyd backing track in D minor. So it's this one here.
Yeah. It's just a random track, you know.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. You see, sometimes to do justice to the song with lesser notes and crying notes. Okay, I give an example. I say that for me, what the hell is this? Yeah. Hold on. Where is now? Songs like, okay, let's now we approach the song like this. Okay, I'll do a different song, right? I'll do a different song.
Mic-nya telah beroperasi selama hampir 12 tahun.
It is something very melodic. I will approach two ways. One feeling way and one technical way. Let's approach like that, okay? Check it out. I will do something very technical, and after this I'll do the same thing for maybe 2 minutes with a feeling way. Now it's make it cry. Now I make it cry.
Your technique is your bending technique is so so well intonated, you know. I think think that, you know, as far as somebody who's learning to play guitar and wants to be able to play solos with feeling and everything, you know, we sometimes focus a lot on the scales and should focus more on bending.
Exactly.
And not just bending the same way every time, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, when you can bend a note first and then hit it and then bring it down.
Yeah.
You know, or if you're practicing scales, you know, if you're practicing a scale, you know, try bending the notes as you go down the scale. You know, like say you're gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different things you can. I mean, that's one of the things that makes guitar a unique instrument and more vocal is the bending of the strings that will make it cry and sing like that. And your technique is perfect. It's just it sings and it cries out and resonates.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Your
Yeah.
bends are perfectly pitched. You know.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I owe all this a lot to my heroes, Gary Moore, Willie John, all these people I learned because I played the song before. It's so hard to play, you know. Gary Moore song, I always feel like crying when I was about to play his song, you know, because it's so tough. You know, after the war album, you know, the Empty Room, things like all the songs before that, when I was not into the blues, but all into the rock song. When I covered his song back in the club days, it's so hard when it comes to playing his song. But that's what makes me learn the system of playing, the crying notes. You know, all the bending with the when you bend, it's not only bend, it's the vibrato. It's not only the vibrato, it's depth. It's going deep. That's Gary Moore. That's what I learned from him. You know, and that's what I use. I mean, I know that you also use the same thing. I mean, we all approach the same thing, but the more depth that we go, it's like putting an injection of feel into it. You know, the last drop of the feel into the notes. That's what for me and for you, it nails the feeling, right? You know, when okay, I give you an example, like when the bending notes, like, okay, let's say this one, like Gary Moore, you have the you know, this all this. That's where the magic I learned from that guy. You know, he always squeeze the note, squeeze. That's Gary Moore. That's
Yeah, total note finesse. He takes a note and finesses it to death. You know, just.
Yeah.
With that vibrato in it and all that, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, Steve Lukather have great vibrato also. Steve Lukather.
You have great vibrato.
Oops. Thank you, bro. Thank you. You have too. You have a great vibrato too, man, Scott. I mean, I love the approach of your playing because is more organic. It's more organic. The way you play is more organic. I mean, I know you can play technically good, but at times feeling plays a very important role to what we are supposed to play, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. It's all about feeling. Even when you're playing technical, if you're playing something technical, you still have to add an element of feeling or emotion to it for it to speak. Otherwise, it's really nothing, you know. It has soul. I mean, you know, that's one of the things that made some of the people that are extremely technical, you know, Malmsteen, Steve Vai, you know, players like that. They're very technical, but they still have a lot of soul, and you know, they have the 3M in right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Bro, Scott, can we dive into the song from backing track from Empty Room? Can we dive in together? Let's see your approach and my approach together.
Is there not latency in the live stream? I mean, are we going to try to jam together? Is that what you said?
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to jam together because I don't know the ways to do it. But let's dive into you go into the backing track, and then we'll go for like 2 minutes. Me and you. You go first, and maybe I go later.
Okay. You want me to pick a backing track?
Yeah.
Or you have one already picked?
This one they call Empty Room.
I'm sorry?
Empty Room by Gary Moore, backing track.
Empty Room's backing track, okay. Well, you go first because I've got to search the track. So
Okay, sure. I'll go first. I want to go for the standard tuning. Let's go for the standard tuning.
In standard tuning?
Yeah.
Okay.
song, okay? I'll do the full song. I'll do the full song.
Everything you play is nice. It's nice, man.
Your turn, bro. Let's go.
All right, let's see. Empty Rooms. It's in D minor.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with this song, so when the chord changes, I wasn't expecting that right there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I really haven't heard that song maybe a couple of times, so I'm not very familiar with the changes. But yeah, that's winging it right there.
Okay, that's cool. But anyway, that's nice of your interpretation. You know, who cares? Who want to? Who? I mean, that's where the most important things happens. When you play, it's your own way, your own approach. You know, that's very important for me. I mean, I can do Gary Moore note for note, easy. But
Yeah,
end of the day, the question will be, where do my playing stands in where? You know,
yeah,
that's very important. That's why I call you to on this channel to have you on what do you call it? Is more your own style, your own style. I mean, that's where I heard Scot Petri style. You know, that's how you approach in all kind of music, all kind of genre. I mean, great. That's great. Thank you so much, bro. Another question: do music make mind change? Just change minds to another level, or maybe, I mean, if let me put it this way: if someone is in depression, a player depressed, maybe no job, I mean, no money, no job, no nothing, blah blah blah, maybe negative, down, so down. But when he listens to music, or maybe when he plays his guitars or drums or whatever, to that moment can bring changes to him, just some happiness like that. You think so? What do you think?
oh, absolutely. That's one thing that music is to me. I used to call my live stream a while back. I used to call it string therapy. String therapy, because music is very therapeutic. It you know, it has healing powers. It's frequency. You know, it's energy. It's a vibration.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
I'll have to say this. I quit playing guitar for about 3 years. Somewhere around 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I didn't get rid of my guitars or anything. I just didn't play. I lost all passion for it. I was going through a lot of other things in my life at the time too, and I was using drugs, and I had all kinds of problems, and I didn't make any time in my life for music for about 3 years. And at the end of that 3 years, I was deeply depressed, and almost to the point suicidal. If it had not been that I had children, that was the only thing that kept me alive, was the thought of what my children would think if I took my own life, you know?
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
and music brought me out of that depression. It was music that brought me out of that depression. And then I kind of got things back in order, and then I relapsed and started doing drugs again. But this time I was still playing music, and I ended up cleaning up about over 5 years ago. I haven't done any drugs in 5 years, except, you know, smoking some marijuana. But drugs, alcohol, or other things that you can become addicted to can be very bad for you, you know. And music, you can get addicted to music. So one thing I learned in treatment is when I went through a treatment program, they said that you can't quit a bad habit. The only way to get rid of a bad habit is to replace it with a good habit. So
Correct.
I made music. I became obsessed with music instead of other things that didn't serve me or my soul in the right way. And I truly think that music was a very important part of my recovery. I think it would have been very difficult to recover from addiction without music. I think that was one of the best tools that I had in recovery, was being able to sit down with this guitar and like I mentioned way back at the beginning of this talk, that to me it's a spiritual, almost a practice of meditation and prayer in the same exercise. And therapy, we'll just go ahead and add that, because that's what it is. It's therapy. Music is therapy.
I agree.
Medicine.
I agree with you, Scott, on every angle. And I'm so sorry.
You know.
So sorry to hear. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear about things that happened to you before. But anyway, you are in a great peace now.
You know, we go through life, we make mistakes, and we learn from them, and we turn them into blessings. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we have to go through the good, or I mean the bad, to get to the good, to learn how to, you know, that's life is
Correct.
a learning process.
Correct.
You know, and we're always going to make wrong turns, but we got to, you know, find our way back. You know,
Correct.
Music can help us do that, definitely.
But one thing for sure, I'm addicted to music anyway. Lucky me.
Pardon?
Lucky me, I'm addicted to music from before.
I'm sorry, it skipped. The video is skipping on my end a little bit.
Okay.
Say again one more time.
I'm saying that lucky me, I'm addicted to music since before.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, but yeah, I have some opportunity to mix with the wrong people back then. You know, with things like that. But lucky, grace God. But it pushes me away to that thing before when I was deeply into music. I have no time for all these other things that negative things to me. I have no time for that. But lucky me, maybe I'm just lucky. I don't know. You know, thank God for it. But Scott, do you want to ask me anything that you need to ask me anything that you want to ask me anything?
I don't know. How long have you been playing?
Me?
Yeah, when did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar in 1978.
Okay. So,
1978.
how old
Yeah, but
were you?
Sorry?
How old were you?
14 years old.
Huh?
14.
14, okay. So you started playing around the same time. I didn't actually, I'd like to mess around on my friend's guitar when I was about 15, and then I got my own guitar when I was 16. So, but I remember wanting to play guitar ever since I was, you know, a wee little kid, you know. But that's great. It's such a giving thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Correct. I was supposed to be my ambition is supposed to be a jet fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Back then, but when I heard that the reef from Smoke on the Water back then, it
Yeah.
blew me away, man. It blows me away. I was stunned, man. I was like, what the hell is that, man? That's it. That is the reef that started everything for me. That's it. That reef. What was the first reef that started for you?
I remember hearing the Pink Floyd solos, particularly the solo in the song "Time" and the song "Hey You" from Pink Floyd. Just a beautiful emotion and resonance of those solos really sparked my interest, or any kind of guitar solo. I remember when Van Halen came out. I was in the I think I was in the third grade, maybe fourth grade, when Van Halen came out, and when I heard Eruption for the first time, you know, when that came out, and getting the album for Christmas, back when we had record albums that were on vinyl, and hearing that whole album for the first time, you know, Eddie Van Halen, I remember that having a big impact. But you know, I didn't play guitar. I didn't begin playing guitar for years after that. But you know, like I said, I remember wanting to play guitar way back then. You know, so not any one riff, but just that sound that of a guitar expressing the emotion and with the melody and the vocal like tone to it of a singing, crying guitar was always kind of gives me goosebumps and makes my neck hairs stand up. You know, if a solo is right, it'll do that to you. It'll just, you know, tickle your soul. You know.
Yeah. And then and then I started my first song playing on guitar. That was in the same year. It's called "House of Rising Sun" by The Animal.
Yeah. That was the first song you learned?
Yeah.
I think the first song that I really learned how to play was Alice Cooper 18. I can't even think of how it goes now. It's like, you know, it's something like that. You know, they have like, you know, had that pentatonic little lead part in it or whatever. That was the first song I learned how to play that I remember. You know.
That's cool. So you are more rocker than me, man. Like that.
Well, you know, oddly enough, you know, what we hear when we're very young children has a big impact on our musical taste. And my parents did listen to a lot of rock music, but not only that, but my dad listened to a lot of classical music. So I got to hear a lot of, you know, classical music pieces, you know, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, and all that style of music, and even operas, and you know, and a little bit of jazz that he would listen to. But my dad loved the Doors and Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones, and you know, that classic rock and roll. My dad was loved that stuff. So that's where a lot of it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know where the blues came from. I was very into the blues, and I never really listened to blues as a child, but you know, I guess the blues is kind of in all the rock and roll, and once you find out where that came from, it takes you back to the blues or whatever. But
correct,
you know.
correct. Okay, Scott, is one question I want to ask you something about. What is the difference between American players and European guitar players?
I really can't give you an answer to that. You know, what's the difference between American guitar players and European guitar players? Are you talking about famous ones or just in general?
Okay, let me put it this way. It's not about technical. It's not about who's better. No, I'm not asking about that. I'm just saying about the flavor. You know, sometimes you know, the British invasion players like Clapton, Jeff Beck, you know, Uli John Roth. There's Michael Schenker from the European players, and American players like Jimi Hendrix. You know, all that kind of players. But the touch. For me, if you ask me the question, there's no differentiate between better players. No, everybody have their own mind of playing. You know, the standards of playing, whatever. But I mean, we are talking about sweetness. I rather go for European players. Sweetness, the sweet touch. But the bluesy side of the touch will always go for American.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah, that's some, you know, and I think the reason why that is because you know, what shapes the energy of music I think our culture, the culture of our own countries, and our even like especially America is you know, it's such a large country. The culture is so different from one part of the country to another part. You have different scenes that have a whole different sound, you know, like even blues, you have Texas blues, and you have Kansas City blues sound, Chicago blues sound, the New Orleans blues sound, the Memphis blues sound. Yeah, so our regions and our countries and the people that we hang around, our culture, it does affect what our music ends up being like, I guess. So maybe the blues the blues was the blues started in the United States, started in the in the on the plantations.
Yeah,
and
correct.
it started more as like a style of singing when they were in the fields or whatever, and it evolved into into something else because it was combined with other genres of music. It's something that we discussed earlier. Is
Yeah,
the blues evolved from that's where it started, and
right.
and even that you have two races of people. You have the slaves, which that's a horrible thing about our country is that happened. Although it was a long time ago, but the music was influenced by music from different continents coming together as one, because you understand what I'm saying? That's where it came from, a mixture of music that was already here with white people and the African people, and that kind of became the blues.
I think Scott,
Yeah.
if I not, what my thinking about playing in between these two continents, America and Europe. I mean, why I say that, because the values of playing blues were not, you cannot find it better than Americans. The values, because the grassroots, the deepest of that blues is either you are black or white, what doesn't matter. But as long as your American way of approaching the blues, especially Chicago, New Orleans, Delta blues, blah blah blah. You have like what you say about Rayvon. Where's Rayvon from? Texas blues. These are the deepest foundation of the blues, where if you listen to European play, they tend to play the sweetest area of that thing, where as a player, that's how I listen to all the old Buddy Guy, Freddie King, Albert King, and B.B. King, such all the great players. When you listen to them, it's always the deepest they go.
Yeah.
It's not about how many notes. Like Europeans tend to play lot of notes. They play sweet, they play right pitch and all that. But when you listen to the actual bass of the blues by the great Buddy Guy or B.B. King or even Rayvon or whatever, those are the real flavors of that thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's how I feel it.
I see. I can see that. I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it does go back to the culture.
Yeah. It's like listening to someone playing Indian music.
What I like about America is it is like a melting pot of cultures from all over the world. I mean, the world is really becoming that. We're so connected now. Just the fact that me and you can talk, on a screen, and you're halfway around the world. What time is it where you're at? Is it in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready to go to bed pretty soon. We're halfway around the world. You're on the other side of the planet, my friend. And we're sitting here having a conversation about music,
Very true. I mean,
I will say this about you, Hassan, is the first time I heard you play, it moved me. I was very taken by it, and I was like, I like the way this guy plays. There's something about the way you play that stood out between, you know, there's so many guitar players on the internet, and a lot of them are very good, but only some of them have this thing that makes them kind of stand out a little bit, you know, and you had that. And then when I started to talk to you and you told me what 3M meant, and I forget the words, Bengali and what are the three the M's again?
Menggali, mencari, and menjiwai.
Yeah, and you told me what they meant. That made so much sense to me, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I do, you know. I saw that we had a lot in common, even though we don't sound like each other, but I could tell that you just, not just as a player, but as a human being, that I had a vibe with you as a human being, a matching vibration or something, you know, like I could tell there was something about you that you're very inspirational. Sometimes, many times when I listen to you, I'm at work, so I don't always comment when I'm there because I'm working, but I'll plug my device up to the speakers in my shop while I'm working and listen to music, and that's usually where when I catch you is when I'm at work in the morning, which I guess will be your evening jams, and it's always, you know, I hear you play, it makes me want to just go home and pick up the guitar and play, you know, very inspiring, you know.
That's a big thing you talk about me. Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. But I mean, that's why I heard about you. The same thing. There's so many great guitar players, colorful, technically good, so fierce, and they're doing wonderful things. I mean, we respect them, all that. No, respect of them, the new kids, the new players. But that's where you stand up, when you play on your own, you know. And I was the same thing. Who's this guy? But wow, you know, it's always the approach is more orthodox. It's not into I can do that. No, it's not like that. It's always going with the flow. So that's where me and you, we can always relate the thinking, but the playing will be different. Me and you, the play will be different, but the approach will be almost the same. Where we sit down, breathe, think, and feel. That's why there to dig in, to dig. 3M means, you know, that mencari means to search, keep searching, and Bengali means to dig in, go deep. That's what I learned from the Indians. And
like concentration.
Menjiwai means to put your soul into it. That three things, these three formula, I formulate into one, and not just blindly improvise, no, but to always put that method into it. Somehow or other, we will find our own voice, our own ways, and our own feels to it.
Yeah.
Scott, I think I'm so grateful to have you. And someday maybe we have another talk. Maybe someday later on, a few more months from now. But as for a buddy from you, all the way from Malaysia, me and all my friends, my guitar members, all my brothers in Malaysia industry, would like to say thank you so much for your time to share some knowledge, expensive knowledge, some playing methods to the kids, and to me also, where we can sit down, we can change ideas, the way the thinking of playing and approaching, and set the feeling of us work together in music. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, Scott.
It's my pleasure. Anytime. You ever need anything, you hit me up. That's all you got to do.
For sure, man. One day, if I come over to America, I'll find you, man.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Scott. From the 3M channel, my gratitude and my thankful to you. and hopefully everything is okay. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
No harm, man. No harm. Yes. Okay, cool. Bye-bye, Scott.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Habis sudah satu sesi bersama apa nama tu? Okay. Alhamdulillah, habis sudah satu sesi lagi bersama seorang lagi gitaris yang bagus daripada Amerika. Beliau ni saya ingat lagi beliau add saya selepas saya main lagu Stiga the Blues saya 3M bukan Stiga the Blues lepas tu punya ramai mak salih add saya. Dekat sini saya kena kutuk, dekat sana saya kena puji pula. Terbalik. Tak, bukan saya makan puji lah, tapi orang kata tengok cara pendengaran diorang, tengok cara pemikiran diorang sangat positif. Diorang satu bangsa yang ke depan, maju ke depan, terlampau sangat ke depan, ya kan? Dan cara pemikiran diorang ialah diorang nak cari suara diorang sendiri. Jadi saya ambilkan bukti-bukti ini, player-player Mak Saleh ni, untuk datang dalam saya punya channel ni, diorang agree untuk keluar dengan channel saya. Diorang sangat-sangat teruja untuk keluar dalam channel saya, untuk bersembang, berbincang dengan saya. Sebab apa? Sebab satulah, culture kita, pemikiran kita sekarang ni, saya nak mana yang baik kita ambil, mana yang tak baik, diorang pukul orang ke, nanya orang ke, pasal agama tu semua saya mampus lah diorang, saya tak ambil tahu. Cuma bahagian muzik saja yang mana boleh ubah cara pemikiran kita ambil untuk bawa ke depan dalam industri muzik kita sendiri. Kita bangga dengan industri muzik kita, tak boleh nafikan, tapi dalam masa yang sama kita kena perbaiki diri kita. Diri saya lah, saya pun kena perbaiki. Dan itulah dia. Saya pun tak sangka dia pun salah satu daripada orang yang nak belajar 3M dengan saya. Ya, yang baik kita ambil. Engkau tak cebok tu aku tak nak ambil lah kan. Takkan kau pakai tisu kau nak suruh aku ambil. Lempang kau boleh. Itu karate itu. Cuma bagian. Cuma bagian. Ya. Kalau kita nak pakai seluar jeans yang diorang Mak Saleh pakai, kita sanggup pakai, boleh pula. Tak. Bukan terror tu tak lah, tapi boleh lah sikit-sikit. Sebab apa? Kita kena perbaiki cara kita. Kalau kita cakap Melayu, cakap Negeri Sembilan dengan dia, mau mati dia kan. Tu dia hantar, J hantar Donald King punya apa nama tu link. J, I'll do a second one with you, J. Okay? Maybe next week if you're free. Dengan J ni pun bagus dia, a guy who very inspirational to a lot of people in apa nama tu, in martial art. Carlos, tu dia. Kalau Carlos jumpa mau ni tu misal dah sampai bawah kan, masalah pula nanti. Tak, sebenarnya saya nak diorang pun tahu. Orang Malaysia kita pun boleh main gitar juga. Ada rasa juga, betul tak? Bukan orang dia orang aja. Orang kita pun ada juga bang. Main-main. Kan? Cakap-cakap juga. Tapi itulah dia. Rasa tu bang. Semua orang ada rasa yang berbeza-beza. So macam mana kita tarik, macam mana kita lanyak, macam mana kita dalam muzik itu cara kita approach gitar kita. So dia orang ada approach cara dia orang, kita ada approach cara kita, tapi kita boleh jumpa di satu titik. Nampak tak? Itulah muzik sebenarnya. Kalau kita anggap muzik ni sebagai challenging, dan masalah lah. Kalau muzik kita anggap sebagai sukan, dan masalah.
muzik tak boleh dianggap sebagai sukan. Oh, nak main arpeggio je. Nanti kalau dengan dia orang ni, nanti kita kena gelak je bang. So lagi baik, macam saya suka fikir tentang kematangan dalam muzik lah. Macam mana kita main itu penting. Kita boleh cakap macam-macam. Last kali kena main kan. So biar dia orang respect kita. Bila bak main ni, biar dia orang respect kita. Supaya saya pun respect dia orang. Sebab apa? Hero-hero saya pun datang daripada sana juga. Suka tak suka, itulah dia. Michael Schenker, Willie John Roth, Gary Moore, Jimi Hendrix, Josh Lynch, bla bla bla. Ini semua hero-hero saya bang. Saya takkan mampu untuk buang dia orang. InsyaAllah saya punya method 3M ni dah ramai dah masalah bang. Dah ramai masalah yang nak belajar, yang hari-hari hantar saya messenger, WhatsApp. Lepas saya dah dapat nombor saya, dia orang WhatsApp saya, dia orang message saya, dia orang tanya saya macam mana cara saya approach dan macam mana dia orang boleh nak belajar dan boleh berkongsi, saya boleh berkongsi dengan. Pasal tu saya tarik dia orang. Daripada saya berbincang dengan dia orang dalam WhatsApp video ke dalam J dengan saya selalu dalam WhatsApp video. Saya ajar dia dalam WhatsApp video. Lepas tu seorang lagi gitaris. Korang bayangkan seorang lagi gitaris dengan yang belajar dengan saya adalah satu band dengan siapa nama ni? Night Ranger gitaris, Brad Gillis. Saya ingat lagi Dave Roman tu. Lepas tu yang sekarang ni siapa nama? Thomas lagi seorang tak lama lagi dia pun keluar juga. Thomas dengan Jackie Lee satu band bila umur dia 16 tahun. Dia orang pun belajar dengan saya. Korang bayangkan gitaris Amerika sekarang belajar dengan kita orang Malaysia bang. Saya bukan nak sombong atau mesti nak action, tak. Setidak-tidaknya saya rasa dia orang ni semua artis sana. Ada bekas-bekas artis. Bekas-bekas artis lah. Dia orang main club. Donald ni main club sebagai profesional. Lepas tu drama main dekat hard rock dan macam-macam club ada orang main dalam club Harley Davidson. Main dalam 6 show dia orang pergi. So bila dia orang jumpa saya jam dekat grup-grup Mak Saleh ni, saya pun tak sangka dia orang pun suka. Dia orang dengar saya, dia orang add, dia orang like, dia orang masuk messenger, dia orang rasa macam saya ni unik, main style itu. Ya, kita banggalah, betul lah. Itu bendera kita sayang babe. Mestilah kita bangga. Bukan apa. Setidak-tidaknya sekarang dia orang pandang kita. Dia orang dapat rasa kita. Saya bangga tu bang. Saya bangga yang tu. Soal saya main tu, saya tak kisah. Saya main tu banyak benda yang saya boleh belajar lagi. Banyak benda yang saya boleh troka. Itu benda siapa-siapa pun sama. Tak kira dia orang Amerika ke New York ke tak kira. Semua orang sama. Cuma kita 3M saya tu dia orang anggap satu benda yang dia orang harus selidik, dia orang harus check. Dia orang harus saya dapat offer pergi San Diego tau. Dengan Thomas Oldra tu. Siapa? Thomas Dolgy tu. Dia ajak saya pergi. Tapi itulah dia, kita nak pergi pun tahulah dalam keadaan kita macam ni dengan COVID dengan apa semua kan. Lepas tu nak belanja pergi sana macam-macam. Leceh juga. Tapi satulah, Alhamdulillah. Sehari ke sehari lebih ramai lagi dan saya akan bawa lebih ramai lagi sahabat-sahabat saya dalam messenger ni yang selalu saya bersembang dengan dia orang ni. Saya tanya dia orang, boleh tak kalau aku ajak kau nak tak keluar dalam aku punya Indonesia tu bagi saya tu dah apa, kita nak, kalau saya nak bagi impact, saya akan panggil orang-orang daripada sana bang, Europe, Amerika. Sebab dia orang ni duduk di atas sekali. Tak kira lah apa kau cakap, dia orang ni duduk paling atas sekali. So dia orang duduk dalam budaya tu, budaya berlumba-lumba ni. Budaya Olympic champion dia orang. World champion dia orang. Apa pun dia orang je. Tak kira lah pak hitam ke, pak putih ke, apa semua dia orang je. So saya ambil peluang ni untuk saya nak faham dan saya nak korang pun faham the way dia orang approach macam mana dia orang main gitar ni. Korang main cara korang je, tak kisah. Cuma cara dia orang berfikir tu. Macam mana nak anggap benda tu feel ke, itu ke, ini ke, apa ke. Itu yang penting. Macam Indonesia ni, saya dah interview Effendi Aris dengan seorang lagi sahabat daripada Kepulauan Riau kan. InsyaAllah memang dia orang ni sudah sampai satu tahap dia orang dah nak pergi mendunia bang. Baru nak jejak. Dia orang baru nak jejak mendunia ni bang. Korang bayangkan sebagai orang Indonesia yang hidup susah dalam rakyat yang betapa banyak, hampir 300 juta. Gitaris berjuta bang. Kita beribu pun kita dah tak boleh hidup dah. Dia orang ni berjuta bang gitaris. Tak mau 10 juta mau mungkin 10% boleh katakan kemur musician dia orang ni. Setiap rumah dia orang ada gitar tong. Kita setiap rumah kita ada pancing. Gitarnya tak ada juga. So macam mana? So itulah dia cara pemikiran, cara dia orang punya adat untuk berjuang tanpa mengaku kalah. Berjuang dulu, habis-habisan, mati-mati. Belum berjuang, tak nak cakap mati. Aku tak boleh lah, aku tak nak lah. Alah, bosan lah. Tak boleh lah, susah lah. Kita banyak pakai budaya ni bang. Minta maaf cakap, kita memang pakai budaya ni. Saya mengajar orang beratus. Beratus budak-budak saya ajar. Tapi itulah dia. Sikap tu, tak boleh lah bang. Aduh bang, tak boleh bangun lah bang. Saya bangun tengah hari lah bang. Kau tidur sama dengan aku pukul 1 pagi. Kau bangun 1 tengah hari. Saya pukul 6 saya dah bangun. Dia bangun pukul 1. Budak lagi. Umur 20 lebihan. Pukul 1 tengah hari kau bangun. So macam mana? Macam mana rezeki nak datang? Macam mana ilmu nak masuk? Kalau kau anggap benda ni benda yang remeh. Nak main gitar tu kau anggap benda tu remeh. Boleh lah besok. Nak tak praktis besok boleh. Tak ada lah. Lepak dulu. Enjoy dulu. Kau rasa dekat Indonesia boleh ke begitu? Tak boleh bang dia orang. Di Indonesia dah tak boleh bawa semangat macam tu dah. Lingkup dia orang ni bang. So dia orang dah memang anggap. Baru-baru ni saya tengok satu gitaris daripada Indonesia. Dia fusion. Budak aja bang. Budak Bandung. Terror tak mampus bang. Dia kalahkan 16,000 gitaris dunia bang. 16,000. Siapa nama Kisel punya pertandingan ni. Tahun 2018. Budak Indon menang. Dahsyat bang dia main. Tak boleh Wan. Anak saya simbah air Wan. Anak abang perempuan, abang simbah air je. Pukul 9 kau tak bangun lagi, memang air sampai kepala kau. Aku tak peduli bang. Kau bangun, kau kemas bilik kau settle makan minum kau, apa segala pergi buat sendiri. Tak ada masa orang nak kasih kau, nak letak atas meja, ni semua tak ada. Tak boleh bang. Saya ajak anak-anak saya umur 17 tahun, semua dah keluar rumah pergi kerja. Pergi, cari duit. Usaha. Anak perempuan saya bawa Grab bang. Grab motor. Buat lah cakap, kau jangan cerita. Tak ada bagi can lah. Tak ada bagi can. Sebab apa? Budaya rajakan diri tu dah tak boleh bang. Kalau kita berjaya ke satu tahap yang mendunia, tak apa. Itu pun kita tak boleh buat. Ini kita belum tahap nak pergi mana pun kita tak lepas. Tahap Malaysia pun kita tak lepas lagi. Kita berangan banyak bang kita ni. Betul aku cakap. Kita ni banyak berangan. Kita ni banyak cakap macam konon-konon kita lah hebat. Kita lah semuanya kita. Tapi kita tak nampak negeri-negeri lain sebelah-sebelah kita tu yang dah menggila main. Tengok dekat Jepun main macam mana. Tengok kat Vietnam. Tengok kat Thailand gitaris main macam mana. Berak bang dengar. Berak bang. Tersirit bang. Ya. Yeah. Kan, nanti jadi berangan tu yang leceh tu. Duduk main TikTok aja 24 jam. Sekolah gagal. Agama gagal. Kehidupan gagal. Last umur 30 tahun, mak bapak masih kasih duit lagi. Itu mana semua saya tak akan buat bang. Betul. Sebab saya, korang bayangkan umur saya 12 tahun. 12 tahun saya ingat lagi. Bapak saya nak bawa mak saya dengan adik perempuan saya tengok sirkus tau. Saya ceritakan korang lah. Saya ulangi cerita yang sama. Saya ingat lagi saya dengar bapak saya dengan mak saya berbincang. Kita orang kat bilik sebelah, mak dengan abah bilik sini dengan adik kita lah, perempuan Nisha tu. Dia kecil lagi setahun. Tu bapak cakap, engkau nak tak aku bawa engkau besok dengan Nisha pergi tengok sirkus. Ada banyak gajah, monyet, itu semua datang, boleh Nisha tengok. Bagi dia tengok, sonok-sonok, ada clown, ada badut, apa semua kan. Saya pasang telinga kat sebelah pula. Best dia. So, adik saya using kata, kau tanyalah, abah minta duit, beli tiket untuk kita. Cakap kau tanyalah sendiri, kau suruh aku tanya. Bawa kau tanya sendiri boleh tak? Dia tak boleh, kau tanya. Kau abang, aku yang kena bang. Pergi masuk bilik, ketuk pintu bang, masuk. Tok, 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 masuk. Bapak buka pintu. Apa hal kau ni? Kau nak apa ni kau ni? Tak nampak orang tengah duduk sembang sini? Tak ada, nak cakap sikit boleh? Cakap cepat. Bah, dengar cerita tadi, abah, mak dengan Nisha nak pergi tengok sirkus Apa hal? Kenapa kau ni? Boleh tak kalau saya dengan Husin nak ikut sekali? Tak dengar apa dia? Dia cakap macam ni, tak dengar apa dia? Apa kau nak? Nak tengok sekali. Ni. Sini bang, kena. Kata aku tercampak tau. Terangkat kaki tau. Bapak aku, ombak aku bang. Bang, kat sini. Angkat kaki, pusing, pop kat pintu. Jatuh kat leher bang. Sini bangun. Pegang sini bang. Sorry bang, tak maaf. Bapak saya kata apa tau? Engkau orang ni kaki tangan ada. Pergi kerja lah. Pergi cari kerja, pergi ambil duit, pergi beli tiket sendiri. Umur saya 12 tahun lah bang. Sekarang budak 30 tahun. Bangun pukul 1 tengah hari, 2 tengah hari, 3 petang. Bangun buka periuk tengok nasi. Buka periuk, mak masak apa? Sardin. Alah, sardin aja. Tak ada benda lain nak masak ke? Minta sardin aja. Kalau akulah macam ni aku dengar, kau tengok muka ni baik-baik lah. Kan? Agak-agak manja tak kalau kena? Memang tumit sampai bang confirm ni. So anak-anak saya perempuan semua. Anak saya perempuan semua. Saya dah cakap dengan isteri saya ini benda ni malas-malas ni. Aku tak boleh dengar telinga aku tau. Aku tak boleh. So pandai-pandai lah. Sebab kalau perempuan kalau kena tangan aku ni, anak perempuan aku kalau kena tangan aku ni, mau ambulans masuk tau. Ambulans. Kutip tau nanti. So jangan sampai aku guna kekerasan. So, kau ibu, kau buat apa yang patut. Aku tak nak dengar benda-benda bingit ni. Aku tak boleh. So mak dia dah bawa dia, pembesaran dia, mak dia dah tahu perangai saya macam mana. Saya pula jarang ada rumah, 3 hari sekali, 2 hari sekali, selalu kat studio je. Balik, semua anak-anak semua dah bedah, duduk depan sofa, semua macam baik je. Saya pun tak tahu apa penahu bang. Mak dia yang handle semua. Rupanya kat belakang berbirat bang kena. Hanger. Dah besar bawah anak saya cakap. Abah tak tahu. Abah kita kena pukul dengan ibu taruh. Bila abah balik, ibu suruh ketawa je. Saya tak tahu. Saya tengok muka okey saya pergi tidur. Sebab memang dah penat gila. Tapi itulah dia. Alhamdulillah anak-anak kita semua jadi manusia kan. So, janganlah manjakan anak sangat. Biar kita susah sikit. Biar kita panas sikit. Biar kita anak-anak kita marah sikit. Tapi akhirnya dia akan muncul sebagai anak yang boleh berdikari. Kan? Sekarang tengok anak-anak tunjal mak bapak. Tengok tak? Anak-anak tunjal mak bapak. Wow, tu sedih tu dengar. Tengok anak-anak maki mak bapak. Sedih lah. Okeylah guys, apa-apa pun alhamdulillah tadi saya dah bawa seorang lagi untuk bersama ya pukul tanda sayangkan anak. Kalau sayang anak, tangan-tangankan. Itu je. Tengoklah kalau patut tangankan. Tak patut tak payah cakap je. Macam itulah kan. Kalau kau dah pergi rosakkan orang, kau pergi pukul orang, anak orang lain, kau pergi bully orang lain, balik kau memang kena tunjal bang. Saya kalau anak saya, kalau saya cakap kat sekolah, kau pergi bully orang, aku balik, memang aku pijak kau. Aku tak pijak orang tu, aku pijak kau sendiri. Sebab ini budaya bully ni saya tak bawa beranak saya, saya tak suka. Kau tak puas hati, kau berdepan dengan dia seorang-seorang. Panggil dia. Gentle, panggil. Apa kau kena lepas tu kau nasib. Apa dia kena lepas tu nasib. Yang penting kau depan dengan one by one. Depan one by one. Gentle habis. Kau marah aku ke? Tanya dia, kau marah aku ke? Kalau kau marah, kau nak buat apa sekarang? Apa kau nak? Mari. Mari sini. Depan-depan. Tak usah panggil geng, tak usah panggil apa. Beduk je, seorang-seorang. Kau beduk dia, dia beduk dia. Tengok. Siapa bangun, nasib. Lepas tu, gentle. Salam, peluk, ciao. Gentle. So, hati lapang, tak ada dendam, tak ada apa. Ini pasal satu orang, sampai 50 orang pukul, satu kelas pijak. Macam mana ni bang? Malulah kita tengok budaya kita macam ni. Kan? Okeylah, apa-apa pun salam Zuhur pada semua sahabat-sahabat, selamat makan, selamat beristirahat bersama family. And so nanti ada masa kita petang kita jumpa lagi. InsyaAllah saya sudahi dengan wabillahi taufik wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam hormat. Salam double noal. Bye.